Now once they if I was gonna go live when they ain't do nothing, I was gonna go live when they did something. I was gonna go live when they did something. Make sure you hit that like button. I see some of y'all come up here. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through here. I'm gonna let some of y'all get in here a little bit. But hey, it's time to talk. It's time to talk. The Texans did what they were supposed to do. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They made that. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They spent the type of money they were supposed to spend. Hey, I ain't got no complaints at all. We said last night when the Joe Mixon when it seemed like the Bengals were going to be moving on from Joe Mixon, that the Texans to go out there and get it. What's good with you, man? Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come through here. We said last night when the Texans, well, when it looked like the Joe Mixon was going to be available, that the Texans need to go out there and get Joe Mixon. And we woke up this morning for them to actually go out there and get Joe Mixon. And then probably the biggest name, getting the Donald Hunter edge rusher from Minnesota, bring them back home. The kids from Katy, bring them back home. 2 years, 49 million, if I'm not mistaken, 48 fully guaranteed. Was fifth last year in sacks with 16 and a half, four forced fumbles. I think the season before he had 10 and a half sacks. So you're talking about a guy over the last 2 years had damn near 30 sacks. So hey, you got a guy who can get to the quarterback. He's actually a better pass rusher than Jonathan Gennard. And I like Jonathan Gennard. I wanted us to retain Jonathan Gennard, but this is a better, more money. And also it's on a 2 year deal, so which means you're not tied to him for long. You only got him for 2 years, so you're not tied to him for long. So unlike if you had to pay Grenard or if you were the franchise Grenard, you've been paying Grenard, who can't stay healthy. Let's be honest. Like he has yet to play a full season healthy. Now he is younger, and I give Minnesota's. I see why Minnesota will go in a younger direction, because they're a team that don't know what they're finna do. They don't really know what they're doing with Jamar Chase. I mean not Jamar Chase with Justin Jefferson, because especially with the news that we did earlier today with Joe Mixon, who knows if Cincinnati's trying to, I feel like Cincinnati, I've seen some rumbles that Cincinnati is trying to get into the Justin Jefferson mix themselves. So we'll see how that goes. See how crazy of an offense that would be when you bring everybody from LSU back together. But that's a conversation for another day. But going after Hunt again, the elite pass rusher helps solidifies your defensive line. I still think they probably need to go out there and get maybe another a DT. Hopefully they could get Armstead, somebody that's worked with D'Amico, worked around and worked with D'Amico for. I know he's a little bit older, but this is what I wanted us to do. I wanted us to spend money on defense. I wanted us to absolutely spend money on defense, and that's what they did. They spent the majority of their money on defense. Only thing they did offensively, as of note, was re-signing Noah Brown and then making the trade for T. Higgins. And like I said, I still think what happened yesterday still remains the same. I feel like that they were in the Saquon Barkley line way too long. And some of the other guys got off the board, and they had to circle around. And luckily, that Joe Mixon was able to come available. And then somebody that you need, a guy who rushed for 1,000 yards last year. He was 8th in the league in rushing, averaged 4 point yards a carry, had 8 touchdowns, had 64 catches. He would have been second on the team of catches. Think about that. He would have been second on the team. You add his stats from last year, he's your leading rusher, and he's also your second lead receiver as far as catches, with 64 catches, 376 yards, and 3 receiver touchdowns. Uh, no one's traded for T. Higgins yet, but obviously he's asked for a trade, and some people are the belief that the Bengals might be trading him and could to create a package to send to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson. This is just some little rumblings between it's mostly being stirred up by Jamar Chase and what's his name, and Justin Jefferson, because LSU now again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Joe Burrow would want to do that, I'm pretty sure the Bengals will agree to that. The thing is, could you agree for Minnesota to do that? Could you agree? I mean, only way I can really see Minnesota really agreeing with that is if if Justin Jefferson basically tells Minnesota, yeah, it don't matter. I'm not resigning him. I don't care who y'all draft for quarterback, whatever. I'm not resigning him. So I mean, you could not give me a contract. I'll play out 1 year. You can franchise tag me. I can sit out on the franchise tag and not play. Like I guess you could. He could be real sticky, and make it very, very uncomfortable for Minnesota if that's actually a real situation. Again, I do think it's kind of a pie in the sky, but it could happen. It could happen. I wouldn't be shocked. I'll put it like this: I would not be shocked. Me personally, I wouldn't be shocked if they moved T. Higgins to Minnesota to get Justin Jefferson to pair up Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Joe Burrow again. I wouldn't be surprised. Do I think it would happen? I really don't think it would happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. If I woke up tomorrow and say that T Higgins is going, blockbuster trade T. Higgins to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson, I would not, like, in probably like a first round pick, I would be surprised. And again, if you the Bengals, I would do that. If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, now again, it's a lot of money you're gonna be sending out because Justin Jefferson is going to get $30 million. He's going to get $30 million, and obviously Jamar Chase is going to get $30 million. So you're going to pay $60 million for two receivers, not to mention the quarterback that you're paying. You better win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years. You better win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years if that's what you want to do. But again, that's just, again, like I said, some pie in the sky. And again, Joe Mixon, like, he's on the contract for 1 year. I think it's at two. I think it's at 2.2. I think the Texans are going to draft a running back somewhere in the draft. You got 2 4-round picks because we gave up a conditional seventh. So basically nothing for Joe Mixon. I feel like what happens in the draft is going to dictate if Joe Mixon gets an extension, because I don't know for a fact if Joe Mixon is going to finish. Is he going to go into the season with only 1 year left on his deal? I wouldn't be surprised if they try to work out something with Joe Mixon, give him a little bit, especially since we're going, like, even with this Hunter signing, we still got some money. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to put a little bit more on that, so they won't have to be in this running back situation next year where they'll be franchise tagging Joe Mixon, or they'll be trying to find and search for another running back. So I feel like they'll probably find a way to not restructure. They'll basically give him a new deal, and also depends on what happens in the draft. I could definitely see Nico as well getting a contract extension before the season starts as well. So I do think they're gonna try to upgrade the running back position to get somebody else in there. But guy fits the system. A guy who fits the system. Because it's the exact same system they run out there in Cleveland. I see more people than jump to here. Hey, make sure that like button. I see more people than jump to here. Make sure that like button. Like I said, he's a guy who definitely fits the system. Like I said, had 1,000 yards last year. Has had 1,000 yards 2 of the last 3 seasons. A guy doesn't really miss that many games. I know he only played 6 games in 2020, but outside of that, he missed 2 games 2 years ago. And then that he's played the full season. He played all last year. He played all the year before. Was a key component on the Bengals making it to the Super Bowl. Hey, you just need a run game. I mean, the Texans rushing last year was 26 in the league on rushing attempts on first down. 20 with 3.9 yards per rushing attempt on third down, which is 26 in the league. Also 26 in the league with yards rushing on third down. Only 64 yards on first down from the ground. 26 in the league. Joe Mixon by himself was 5th in the league last year on first and second down. So you have a complete back, a guy who can run the football, run the zone. He's a hard runner, runs aggressively, hits the holes aggressively, able to catch the football out of the backfield, able to make some moves, decent at pass blocking. Basically the type of running back that you basically need, honestly. Like honestly, I'm gonna make a video breaking down exactly what he's good at and exactly what he really fits into the offense. But he fits the offense well, because that's the offense he's been running at least since 2019. So I mean, and again, a guy who was a main component, number 1 running back, for a team that went to the Super Bowl, and then the following year went to the AFC Championship game. I know a lot of people want to make about what he did at Oklahoma, the whole situation. And bro, that was 10 years ago. That was in 2014. It was 10 years ago. That was a decade ago, literally a decade ago. 2014. We in 2024. Dude's been in the league since 2017. He's been in the league since 2017. We haven't heard anything. I know he had an incident, I think, like a year or 2 ago. But those charges were dropped, or no, he was found out guilty. The only thing they were dropped, he was found out guilty. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, That's the whole reason why we have courts and laws. I mean, everybody wants to say when somebody gets found guilty or something. I mean, he was found not guilty. So we gotta roll with that. No matter how you feel, he was found not guilty, so therefore he's not guilty. Just like if he was found guilty, you're gonna say that he was guilty. That's how we do with the court of law, right? So he's found not guilty. Uh, and I think I mean, other than that, like the dude's been a captain for the last 4 years for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that I mean, again, I know some people might be upset. Y'all gonna be upset until he starts scoring touchdowns. Once he starts getting 100 rushing yards and starts scoring touchdowns, y'all not gonna be upset. This is a complete upgrade. I'll tell you this right now. Joe Mixon is the best running back the Texans have had since the decade in 2014 when we had well, not 20, yeah, actually Arian Foster last season was 2015, but Arian Foster didn't play the full season. So yeah, I'm gonna go back a decade since 2014, Arian Foster, because what outside that you had Alfred Blue, you had Lamar Miller. Now Lamar Miller did have 1,000 yards, but it was like that was the hardest 1,000 yards you ever had to watch run. Carlos Hyde in 2019. And then after that, what we seen in Houston? After Carlos Hyde, we seen David Johnson. We seen a combination of David Johnson, Philip Lindsay, and what's old boy name? Ingram. And then also we seen who else we had after that? Damian Pierce and last year's combination of Singletary and Pierce. So obviously Joe Mixon is the best running back we've had since Foster in 2014. I know Foster played in 2015. That was his last season, but he only played. He missed the first like 3 weeks of the season because of a hamstring. Played like 3 or 4 weeks, and then tore his Achilles and never played as a Texan again in 2015. So he's only played a couple seasons. I ain't forget about Alpha Blue. I named Alpha Blue. Joe Mixon's better than Alpha Blue. Like out of the people oh Burkhead. Okay, we gonna count Burkhead too. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I mean Burkhead did have that game against the Chargers when he had like 100 some yards. I guess I have to give Burkhead his credit. But no, I mean like let's be honest, Alpha Blue, in the sense that Alpha Blue was like since Foster, Alpha Blue's been our third best running back. Because Carlos Hyde's since Arian Foster until now, Carlos Hyde's been our best running back. That one season, 2019, Carlos Hyde. Oh, I forgot about what's his name? David Johnson? Well, not David Johnson. Duke Johnson. Forgot about Duke Johnson. So Carlos Hyde was the best running back, and then after that, begrudgingly, I gotta put Alfred Blue. I mean, not Alfred Blue. I gotta put Lamar Miller. Actually, because Lamar Miller was a better running back than Alpha Blue, but that's not saying much. Then you have Alpha Blue. So, like, I mean, that's what we've been dealing with since we've lost Arian Foster. So, we've really been trying to just basically piece stuff together. So, this is a legitimate running back, a guy who I believe is going to have 11 to 1,200 yards. Like I say, and he's used to playing with a quarterback like Joe Burrow type quarterback. That's who he's played with. Now he's going to be out here playing with C.J. Stroud. And we got Nico Collins, we got Tank, and I feel like with all the moves that we've done, I do think it's solidified that we're going to draft a receiver possibly in the first round. It looks like it's going to be receiver and corner in the first 2 rounds, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get a corner at pick 23. Where we're sitting at pick 23, I think we're in a prime position to get a quarterback, a receiver to help out your quarterback, because you don't want to put your quarterback in a situation because he just won Rookie of the Year. You don't. And I hear this all the time about C.J. Stroud. Hey, man, C.J. so good he can elevate talent, make people good. You don't want to fall into that mistake to just put crap around him. Put some talent around him so he can. If you feel like he can elevate bad players to good, what do you feel like you can get when you give him good and great? He's going to elevate good to great. He's going to elevate great to all-time Hall of Fame. So that's what you want to do. That's what you want to put around him. You want to put around him weapons. You want to put around him key pieces. So yeah, you got Nico Collins. You got Tank Dell. We just re-signed Dalton Schultz, who CJ is very happy and very close with. Now you add him a running game, something he didn't have last year, and something he didn't have at Ohio State for that information either. He didn't have a running back in Ohio State either. So when you add an actual running game able to hand the football off, and able to take some of that pressure off. We definitely could have used the run game in Baltimore. We could use a run game in Baltimore. If you look at some of those other games, you look at the game against Carolina, you look at the game against Atlanta. Some of those losses, if you add a consistent running game in those type of situations, do you know the Texans are not the 4th seed? They're the number 2 seed. What separates the Texans from the 1 to the 2 seed is one game. It's one game. Both Buffalo and Kansas City had 11 wins. The Texans had 10. They were one win away from tying those 3. Now, the Chiefs if they were all in 11 games, the Chiefs, because they had a better conference record, would have been the number 2 seed, and the Bills would have been the number 4 seed, and the Texans would have been the number 3 seed. In the way that would have worked out. That's exactly how they would work out. The Chiefs would have been the number 2 seed, the Texans would have been the number 3 seed, and the Bills would have been the number 4 seed. If we would have won just one more game. Any game you pick up, and the reason why is because Kansas City had a better conference record. I know Kansas City beat Buffalo, and that's what made Buffalo end up being the number 2 seed, because when you got the same record, it's head-to-head, but when it's a collection of multiple teams that have the same record, they throw head-to-head out, and they just go strictly off a conference record. The Chiefs had the better conference record. The Texans had a better conference record than the Bills. The Bills had the worst conference record of the 3. The Bills would have been the 3rd seed. Been the 4th seed, I'm sorry. And if the Texans would have won 2 of the games, again, both against the Falcons and Carolina, they had the lead late. If the Texans win both of those games, the Texans have 12 wins, the Texans number 2 seed. So instead of going to Baltimore, we're talking about possibly Buffalo coming to Houston in round 2. So, I mean, you would have played Pittsburgh in round 1. You would have played Buffalo, would have came to Houston in round 2. And then potentially you've been either going to Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, something the Texans have been in, or if the Chiefs would go into Baltimore and beat Baltimore, the Texans have been hosting the AFC Championship game. Once again, a situation that the Texans never been in. That's how small of a margin the Texans have got, not to only be in the AFC Championship game, but hosting the AFC Championship game. And the reason why? Because you don't have a ground game. That's what this does. This gives you a ground game. So I think it's beautiful. And then again, like I said, the biggest Sunday is getting Darnell Hunter. I think that bringing them back home, a guy who was, like I said, with fifth in the league in sacks, pairing him with Willie Anderson. Now we can definitely get to the quarterback. You signed Darnell yesterday. So you have rotational pieces in the DT. We're able to get to the quarterback. I feel like now that we're gonna be able to get to the quarterback. I hope that we get Eric Armstead, a guy who's played under DeMeco Ryans, knows DeMeco Ryans' defense very well. See some more people jumped in, make sure you hit that like button. More people jumped in. Hey, make sure you hit that like button, man. Come on now. Well, the Texans had a great day in day 2. I know we was upset about yesterday because we didn't go out there to get the Saquons or the Christian Wilkins. Again, overpaid for Christian Wilkins. I think Vegas did. Saquon, I just feel like when it comes to all said and done, I feel like the Texans were never going to get Saquon. Saquon basically just used his relationship with C.J. Stroud to elevate his what the money was going to be for Philly, and that was always going to be his primary target. He was always going to go home, and I think he just basically used and finessed the Texans. And because he used and finessed the Texans, it kind of hurt them as far as other moves they could have made. Even though I'm very happy about Joe Mixon, I would have liked DeAndre Swift. Honestly, I would have liked DeAndre Swift. That was always my number 2. At one point, it was my number 1. Saquon did become my number 1 because people had kind of broke some things down, like Wise and J Mill. Shout out to my boy Wise. Shout out to my boy J Mill. They broke some numbers down. I'm like, you know what? That kind of makes sense and fit him into his offense. You could have a Christian McCaffrey type situation, but me and my boy Big B was saying that, hey, DeAndre Swift can make some moves as well. So because of that, that's why DeAndre Swift was my number 1, but now I put him in my number 2. And we weren't able to get either one of those guys. Joe Mixon, though, surprised that he was able to come available. Luckily for the Texans, luckily for Nick Caserio, lucky for us that he was able to come available. So again, and I said this last night when the news broke. Well, I said this last night when the news broke. If you go out there and you get Joe Mixon, you go out there and get Hunter, hey, You can salvage this. You can salvage it, and you have it goes from salvaging to you have a very good free agency class. You have a very good free agency class. You got a deep class full of rotational pieces, key pieces. So your defense is set. And like I said, Big B was telling me this yesterday. He was like, "Hey, just chill out. I feel like Nick Casario is going to make some moves." And he did. Same thing with Jay Mills. Jay Mills the biggest Nick Casario apologist out there, telling me that, hey, moves is coming, bro. He was telling me, hey, bro, moves are coming. So I gotta give a shout out to them guys because they knew exactly what was gonna happen. Again, I was more upset that we were sitting. It seemed like we were sitting on our hands and we let deals go by because we were being too keen in on one person, on one. And I think it was two people. I think it was a combination of both. I feel like we were too focused on both Saquon and Christian Wilkins, and we got out of those conversations late. We stayed in the room too long. We stayed. You know, when you're on a date with somebody, they was on the date too long. They should have realized early on. They should have realized when she ordered the appetizer that this ain't gonna work out. So let me get up and go. Let me get up and go. Let me cut my losses right now and get up and go. But no, they sat through dessert. They sat through dessert. They sat through dessert and then realized that this is not going to work out. Got up, and everybody else was at the club. Everybody else was at the movies. Everybody else was at the restaurant. That's what I felt like happened. But again, luckily, luckily, the Uber pulled up, and Joe Mixon and then Hunter hopped out the Uber, back to back Uber was like, oh, hey, we can go over here. Hey, I saw him right now. Simmons went to the Titans. Joe Mixon about to have 600 yards. Nah, bro. Nah, man. Joe Mixon about to have. He gonna at least have another 1,000. Joe Mixon's gonna at least gonna get a G. I don't know if he's gonna get 12 to 13. I mean, he's never been like a 1,500 yard back. So I mean, he's never been a 1,500 yard back. And if you look at the rushing numbers over the past couple of years, I mean, this is not like how it was back in the early 2000s or in the 2000s when in the early 2000s when guys was getting 15 and 16 and 1,700 yards. I mean, guys be getting 1,200 yards in the second in the league in rushing. Like 1,200 yards back in the day used to be like 10th in the league in rushing. Like 1,200 yards now is second in the league in rushing right now. 1,300 yards is like leading the league in rushing. You lead the league in rushing with 1,300 yards. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be that type of running back, but hey, I think he's going to get you. he gonna get you around. He gonna get you around between 1,000 and 1,200. He gonna get you between 1,000 and 1,200. Like I say, getting 8, 9, 10 touchdowns. He gonna get you some touchdowns, and also gonna give you some on the receiving end as well. Yeah, most definitely. Nick. Hey, we definitely could compete for a championship as long as you got that quarterback. And the thing is, bro, you have to what keeps him from having a sophomore slump or a fall off or anything like that is you got to keep pieces around him. One thing that we talked about early, about 2 months ago, a little 2 months ago, you was able to keep Bobby Slowick and you was able to keep Gerard Johnson as his OC and quarterbacks coach, which means everything stayed the same. Philosophy, language, all those things stay the same. And I'm pretty sure that Gerard Johnson also got the bug in his ear like, hey, if Bobby leaves, you're going to be the OC. You're going to be the OC. So do you want to be the OC in Houston or do you want to be the OC in Pittsburgh, or in Minnesota with whoever the quarterback gonna be in Minnesota, or do you want to because that's probably New Orleans, they don't even got a quarterback. Like, do you want to be in that situation or do you want to be the OC with C.J. Stroud? So I'm pretty sure, hey man, C.J. Stroud, yeah, I'm gonna be OC with C.J. I'm gonna be OC with C.J. Stroud. He gonna at least he gonna put me in position to win. So what he gonna do is, even if Bobby Slowick does get offers, Gerard Johnson's going to wait and see what Bobby Slowick does. And if Bobby Slowick stays, then Gerard Johnson might leave to go take an OC somewhere else because he don't want to be stuck as being the quarterback's coach. But if Bobby Slowick leaves, he's going to stay and be the OC in Houston. I'm pretty sure that they had that conversation. That's how they was able to reel those guys back in. And again, I'm pretty sure they gave Bobby a little bit more control offensively. And I'm pretty sure Bobby probably had a hand to do with some of these free agent moves. And I'm pretty sure that Bobby possibly could be in the conversation when we talk about draft capital bringing guys in. Because I'm pretty sure, at least if I'm Bobby Slowick, because I could have took the job in Washington. Because obviously Washington became available because Ben Johnson from the Lions didn't take it. So if I'm Bobby Slowick and I see that Washington desperately wants a head coach, and I know that all the coaches that have been taking jobs once was on their coaching staff, and he's one of them that was once on their coaching staff, that they desperately want to keep him in, retain him and bring him back. So, hey, I'm gonna use that as leverage. Like, hey, I'll stay with CJ and be the OC, but I'm gonna need a little bit more power. As far as, and what I mean by power is not saying I'm making all the decisions, but hey, I need, like, look, when we talk about signing free agents or drafts and stuff like that, I want to be consulting this information too. I want to have my input on what type of receiver I might want via the draft, what type of running back I might want free agency or the draft, what type of receiver I might want via the draft, things like that. I don't think it's just all Nick or nothing or all D'Amico or nothing. I think it will be a collective unit when it comes to, especially when it comes to this, especially when elevating Bobby Slowick. I think they made him the assistant head coach, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I'm pretty sure he probably wants some of that responsibility as well, so he can able to put in people in his offensive system and do the things that he wants to do. So because of that, though, we gonna put that off first. Then you re-sign and retain Dalton Schultz, somebody that CJ wants. Again, Nico and Tank coming back for another season under CJ Stroud. Now you just add Joe Mixon. And then you did exactly what I want you to do on defense. Spend the money on defense. Go out there and get players on the opposite side of the football, because that's where you can get veterans and stuff like that on the opposite side of the football. That's what you can spend money on. You can spend big money on the opposite side of football and let those guys on defense do what they do. Especially when you got a defensive-minded head coach. Let them do what they do. Spend money on them, especially pass rushers, so they can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. That's what you do. Put pressure. And then on that draft, because it's way easier. It's way easier for you to go out there and get like a receiver or something like that to play than DTs and stuff like that. And then now you got a whole bunch of size and stuff up front. You got some big guys up front ready to clog the middle, to stop the run, and to get after the quarterback. Now you got Hunter and Will Anderson, defensive rookie year, coming off the edges. Again, I like the fact that you had Jonathan Gennard and Will Anderson coming off the edge. Oh yeah, forgot about as you as well. I like the fact that you had Will Anderson and Jonathan Gennard coming off the edge. I did like that. But again, and I like Jonathan Gennard. I like Jonathan Gennard coming out of Florida. I thought Jonathan Gennard was a good pickup and a guy who was able to get a second contract. And hey, I'm glad he got $19 million. I wasn't willing to pay him $19 million. But he's a guy who's never he plays well. But the fact is, he's never played a full season. None of his 3 seasons or 4 seasons in the NFL, he's never played a full season. Never played a full season. And luckily for him, luckily for us, that the season that he played the most was his best season. Was his contract year. He was basically playing for a contract, and also was able to play on a meaningful team too. Wasn't just a team that won, because his first 3 years he won 4-3 games. This year he's actually in an actual situation where not only were you playing meaningful football in November and December, you were playing playoff football in January. Like, he got to go to the playoffs and stuff like that. And we was able to benefit that. Something that we wasn't ever able to benefit. Remember, we was never able to benefit from Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. We drafted Clowney in 14, and then 14 was J.J.'s best. Really, I think that was his best year. J.J. missed time that year. J.J. had a great year. Clowney missed time that year. J.J. had a great year. 2015, Clowney missed time. J.J. had a good year. 2016, J.J. played the first 3 games and missed the rest of the season. J.J. had a great year. The following year, 2017, J.J. played 5 games, missed the rest of the season. JJ Clowney had a good year. The following year in 18, they both, well, actually, JJ played the whole season. Clowney was in and out the lineup, and they we ended up making the play, but I don't think Clowney in that Colts game? I don't know if Clowney was even available in that Colts game. I don't even think Clowney was available in that Colts game. But I know he missed a lot of time that season. 19, JJ, well, 19, Clowney was gone. Yeah, Clown was gone. Clown got traded in 19. And then also, even though Klein got traded in 19, JJ missed half the season with a torn pec. So we were never able to see, we never seen that real unit. And we got to see it this year with those two guys. We got to see what we want to see. We got to see two guys that damn near got double-digit sacks. I think you're going to have two guys that get double-digit sacks is coming up, yeah. We're going to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. We're going to be able to get to the quarterback. We're going to be able to make moves. We're going to be able to stuff on defense. Now, I do want us to do something else in safety, though. I don't know. Last time I checked, I didn't see that Simmons has gotten signed, but hopefully he hasn't gotten signed. I would like for us to bring in the safety. I don't know if we're going to bring in the corner. Like I said, I know yesterday we brought in the Cuda. I would like to probably bring in somebody like Fuller. I think Fuller would be a good bring in. Even the Dory Jackson at this point would be good bring in. I mean, Jeff Okudah has a lot of talent. He definitely does. My issue about Jeff Okudah is that he's rarely healthy. Like Jeff Okudah, I mean, he is. He's just rarely healthy. He doesn't play a lot of football. I think he plays extremely well, but he has a lot of talent. He can play extremely well. You want Xavier Howard? Hey, at this point, I will bring in Xavier Howard. I wasn't really all that keen on Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore, because Xavier Howard, I do think that time has passed both of them. But Stephon Gilmore, the last 2 years, last year at Dallas, and I think the year before that with the Colts, Stephon Gilmore played pretty well. So I'll bring him in. And again, you just brought in another guy. You just brought in another guy from home. So I mean, I can see you bringing in Xavier Howard. Again, at least for camp. Cause I do think they're going to draft a corner. Like I think a corner is going to be drafted in the first 2 rounds. I don't know if it's going to be the first or second. I don't think it's going to be the first round, because the reason why I don't think it's going to be the first round is because the reason why I don't think it's going to be the first round is because I don't think you're in position to draft. I don't think you're going to be in position to draft one of the top corners. Cause I think Wiggins, Arnold, and what was his name, Quinyon Mitchell, are going to all be off the board. I'm not really high on Quinyon Mitchell. I know a lot of people are, because he's fast and he's athletic. I also think he's fast and athletic, but he also gives up a lot of big plays. And I'm afraid to have him and Jalen Petrie both back there, both giving up big plays. I don't think that's a recipe for success. But I would much rather have Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, but I think he's going to be gone. Arnold might be there, but I don't know about that. And then you also have Kool-Aid, who, if it's in the second round, cool. I'm not trying to use the 23rd pick on Kool-Aid. I like the receivers there at 23 better. I like the Brian Thomases, the Troy Franklins, the A.D. Mitchells, the Xavier Worthies. Me personally, I like Keon Coleman, even though I don't think he fits with what the Houston Texans want to do. But now that you have Joe Mixon, some of that actually might be a little bit different, because I think you're gonna be in the red zone a little bit more, and I think that's where Keon's gonna thrive, is really red zone football. But that's what I want to do. So I mean, I just seen somebody say, "Well, we're about Snead." We're not drafting Chop. That'd be absurd. You just pay you just pay Hunter $49 million. I think it can go up to 51 with guarantees. So you talking about you paying him $25 million a year, basically, with 24.5. You pay him $24.5 million. And then you just drafted Will Anderson, who you jumped up. That's the reason why you only got one first-round draft pick, because you jumped up to get Willie Anderson last year with the 3rd pick. So you use the 3rd pick. You use the 3rd pick on Willie Anderson, and then you use the 3rd pick on Willie Anderson, and then you spent $24.5 million on Daniel Hunter. Ain't no way you're drafting Chop Robinson in the first round at 23. Just like there's no way that the Texans are drafting a tackle in the first round. I be seeing that on mock drafts too about the Texans drafting tackles when you have the highest paid left tackle and the fourth highest paid right tackle, and you also traded and paid your right guard, and you jumped up in the draft to draft your center. Now your left guard, because even though you spent the first round pick on Kenyon Green, I don't know what that's going to be made, but you also do have passing out there as well. So you got assets and you got pieces. You're not drafting. I don't feel like you're drafting the offensive lineman in the first 3 rounds, let alone drafting a offensive tackle in the first round. Just like I don't feel like you're drafting an edge rusher in the first round. If you're drafting what you're drafting on defense, it's going to either be a corner, it's going to be a receiver, or corner, or potentially until something else happens, will possibly could be a DT. A DT wouldn't be surprising because what you call it out of UT, but that's one reason why I want to get Armstead. And I think and the thing is, I feel like they can get him. I feel like they can get Armstead. I feel like I don't think he's been officially released yet, but I feel like they can get Armstead. I really do. And I see more people that jumped up in here. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come up in here. Now, come on now, hit that like button. Again, the Texans are making moves, and we are talking about the Texans actually putting themselves in having the great, putting themselves in a situation like they had a good day. They had a good day today. Like them going after and getting Joe Mixon. I think they recognized that they waited too long for the Saquon situation, and they need a run. They went from wanting a running back to being desperate running back because there was no way that you could go into this offseason. But you can go into the season not having a running back. You couldn't go into the draft, or because you couldn't go into the draft with Damian Pierce being your only running back on the roster. You could. Now they could have ended up with I think J.K. Dobbins still back there. I think was it A.J. Dillon, K.J. Dillon, whatever the dude from Green Bay. They still out there. They didn't want him. Just like like I said yesterday when it came to Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry went to the Ravens. That's crazy. Don't a lot of Titan players go to the Ravens. That's kind of weird how a lot of Titan players end up going to the Ravens, especially the history that the Titans and the Ravens had in the early 2000s. So it's kind of ironic. And then Aaron Jones going to Minnesota, which is weird that he didn't come to Dallas because he's from El Paso. So and Mike McCarthy is the head coach. What that tells me the teams that want him outside possibly Minnesota. Same thing with Derrick Henry, how he lives in Dallas and he didn't go to Dallas. Like I said, that's why I said this yesterday. I felt like cause I didn't want neither one of those guys. I didn't want I didn't want Aaron Jones, and I also didn't want Derrick Henry for different reasons. Aaron Jones injury concerns. Derrick Henry, he's 30 plus and he's led the league in carries for the last 5 years. And I think the Nick Casario and the Texans felt that way because if that was the case, they wouldn't have made a trade for Joe Mixon. They would have let because Joe Mixon was about to get cut, but because these deals are not official until tomorrow to Wednesday, these none of these deals and trades are official. They had time to go out there and be like, hey, before y'all actually make it official that y'all gonna cut them, hey man, we'll give y'all something. We'll give y'all I think we'll give and like I said, you'll take anything because you're about to get rid of them for free, so you're about to receive some compensation. Oh yeah, cool. Hey, yeah, give me what you about to give me? All right, cool. Give me that 7th-round pick. I ain't tripping. So that's what ended up happening. And again, if Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry were on the table, they wouldn't have did that. The reason why they did that for 2 reasons. One, Nick Casario possibly, because I've heard the fact that Nick Casario doesn't really like actually being in negotiation with players, and it could be a situation that he really doesn't like doing that. That's not his favorite thing to do. But the other thing is that he looks at Derrick Henry, he looks at Aaron Jones, and like I don't want neither one of those guys because there's a strong chance with those 2 guys on the roster, Damian Pierce still might have to carry might have to have a lot of carries unnecessarily because either this dude might be hurt or this dude really can't get no push, and I'm paying him. When I get Joe Mixon, who doesn't miss time, who's a very good ball carrier, he hasn't fumbled the ball in 3 years. a very good ball carrier, gets a lot of touches, carries and rushes. I mean, catches and rushes, and is on and knows the system. And was a running back on two teams that made two conference championship games and one made a Super Bowl. So when you put all that into consideration, when you put all that into consideration, you put all that on the board. Yeah, this is the type of decision that you got to make. This is the decision that you make. So you afford and you give up those draft picks. Cool. That's what you do, and I'm cool with that. I'm very much cool with that. ETN is better. ETN is younger, but nah, Joe Mixon is a very good running back. But I know you a Jazz fan, bro. Draft Thomas Jr. I mean, I don't know how long Robert Woods and Jimmy Ward is on the roster. Even though you just signed Hunter, you still ain't spending no money. Like that's the thing, because everything else you've done has been so minute and so small. You haven't spent. That's the only money that you really spent was Hunter. Now again, you spent 24. You did spend 24, but that's all you really spent for a team that came into offseason with 68 million. And all you did was spend 2,400 and then spend 12 on what's his name? The tight end, Dalton Schultz. You really spend the money, so you still got money. There's no need to cut Robin Woods. There's no need to cut Robert Woods or Jimmy Ward. You can save about 10 million to cut them. You can save closely around like things like 9.5, like a 9.7 or something like that, like 9.7, 9.3, something like that. You can save enough money to get a whole player. Like you can save by cutting them is a salary to get a whole player, but you don't have to do it. There's no reason to do it. There's no reason. There's no need to do it because you got a lot of money on your salary cap. You have a lot of money left. You still got some money. They still. I seen somebody put up about Snead. Technically, the Texans could still go after Snead. I wouldn't want them to at this point because it's going to cost you a first round pick. They tag Snead is gonna cost you a first round pick. I don't want to give up a first round pick. I like, even though I like Snead, and don't get me wrong, especially what we've done already on defense, and you add Snead to that, boy, boy. And see, that's the thing. Like I said, because I like Jeff Okudah. I don't want Jeff Okudah to be the only corner. When that one because Sting is opposite side. I don't want that Jeff Okudah has to be the number two cornerback. As it stands right now, today he's the number two cornerback. I don't feel like that Jeff Okudah is going to be the number two quarterback in September when we step on the field for week one. If it's whoever we face in week one, I don't feel like Jeff Okudah is going to be the number one cornerback. I mean, the number two cornerback. I feel like kind of similar to the Shaq Griffin. Like kind of similar to how we had Shaq Griffin, that he was out there, but like I mean, cause I know Shaq Griffin during OTAs when Steven Nelson was holding out, the Shaq Griffin was there in that spot, and then once Steven Nelson came back, he kind of took over. So I feel like something similar to that outside the holdout, but just that's what Okudah is going to be, just floating and potentially be a guy who could potentially be in that spot. I don't think you should depend on Jeff Okudah, and I think the money sells that when you're only paying $4 million. But yeah, Snead and Stingley though. Gosh, that would be cold, bro. Cold. It's freezing. That ain't cold, bro. That's freezing. That's freezing. There's no fly zone for real. Don't build no airports nowhere near Kirby. Nowhere near there. You can't build an air. No planes can go nowhere near there, bro. No planes. Only give up one first round pick, Justin Jefferson. Other than that. Yeah, that's a wild man too. The only player, it's only two players in the NFL right now that I would be willing to trade a number one pick for. That's Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. That's it. I don't, I don't even think I paid a number. I don't even think I'll spend a number one pick on Tyreek Hill. I mean, you could. I mean, even though I think Tyreek Hill is like the number two receiver in the league behind Justin Jefferson. Uh, but no, I don't even know if I'll even spend number one pick on Tyreek Hill. But like anybody else, there's no other player I would spend the number one pick behind for. No, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously you ain't got no quarterback. I mean, you got a quarterback, so you're not spending one on quarterback. Yeah, I heard Higgins is going for a third and a fifth. If Higgins go for a third and a fifth, if Higgins go for a third and a fifth, uh, the Bengals are actually getting fleeced. Higgins should at least go for a second. Higgins should at least be going for a second. He should. He should. But the problem is it's a receiver heavy draft. That's why I wouldn't trade for a receiver unless it was Jettas unless it was Jettas or what's his name or Jamar Chase. That's the only reason why I'm trading for a receiver. What about CeeDee Lamb? I like CD. I like CD. I wouldn't trade first round pick for CD. Now, because of this draft. Now, maybe in the future, maybe in a different type of situation, because when I look at the receivers in this draft, you're going to be able to get very talented receivers that do a lot of the same stuff some of these other guys do, and you're going to keep them under team control for the next 5 years. They got 4 years and the fifth year option. Well, that's what I can get with this first round pick. Now, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I'm just Higgins, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, these guys are the upper echelon best receivers in the league. These are two top five receivers. I feel like one is one, and I think Jamar Chase could definitely be the second, the third, the second best receiver in the league. I feel like Jamar Chase is number three. To me, I have to me, I have Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. Um, I do got CD in the top five, but I'm trying to see because I'm thinking of who I'm gonna have four and five. Yeah, so I guess I would have CD four, CD before, and AJ Green's five. I like CD over AJ Green. That's I mean AJ Brown, AJ Green, AJ Brown. That's what my dilemma. I was trying to figure out did I want to put AJ Brown over CD Lamb or did I want to put CD Lamb over AJ Brown? I feel AJ Brown is top five. So I know a lot of people don't feel like that. I almost have him at four. I had to think about it. I do like CD. I do like CD. So I'll put CD up there. I'll put CD four for me personally. Now y'all could disagree. I'll put CD four. Uh, AJ Brown. I know I said AJ Green, but I meant AJ Brown. What about D Hop? D Hop not even the top 10. Like 2023 version of D Hop. D Hop is not in the top 10. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Texan fans. D Hop is not in the top. D Hop is not in the top 10 in receiving. Not no more. I'm sorry. Nobody knows what the hell was it doing. Yeah. But yeah. So but yes, like those like I said like I said I wouldn't give up a first round pick for CD. I mean I wouldn't give a first round pick for AJ Brown. I like both those receivers. But yeah, I'm not the only guys. I'm trying to think maybe trying to think of a pass rusher. Uh, I mean yeah I guess what you call it would be with the first round pick. Miles Garrett and TJ, but I don't know. I mean maybe, but not really. Like because of the age. I don't know. Like giving the first round picks is hard. Again, those guys are superstar talented guys. I don't know because I mean Miles Garrett's been in the league since 2017. Like it's creeping up on 10 years. Same thing, yeah. But same thing with TJ. They both came in the same year. It's creeping up on 10 years. It's creeping up on 10 years. I don't know if I'm giving up a first round pick for a guy a 10-year vet. So so like I said, I think it would definitely have to be with it would definitely have to be one of those two guys like I said. So I'm not giving up one for T Higgins. That's what I said. And like I said, I seen that they're trying to there's rumors of the Bengals potentially trading T Higgins to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson to pair up Justin Jefferson, T Higgins, and not T Higgins, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. I've seen that report. Don't know how true it is. Could just be speculation. It could just be both Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase trolling. But I mean that would be dangerous. That would be dangerous. And when you do something like that, again, nothing too about getting Snead too as well. Like getting Snead would definitely weaken the Chiefs. However, you give the Chiefs pick 23. Let's just say even if the Texans did do that, even though I reckon against it. If the Texans did trade to get Snead, yes, you took away from the Chiefs' defense, but now the Chiefs have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. They would have picked 23, 31. And they also have a second round pick. The Chiefs would easily, with that first pick, take Xavier Worthy. And potentially with the last pick in the draft at pick 32 or 31, yeah, pick 32. Well, because they have host their fifth option, a team in the second round could definitely jump up. And they can get especially if a team got 2 second round picks, could jump up and jump up and get those 2 second round picks from the Kansas City Chiefs. And so now the Chiefs could have 3 picks in the second round, three picks in the second round, and able to get other players, get some other corners on defense, and also draft another receiver. They could draft 2 receivers in the first round. I'll be damned. That's what they're trying to do. That's exactly what the Chiefs are trying to do. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to. I just thought about it. That's exactly what the Chiefs are trying to do. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That's what they're doing. That's the reason why they're willing to trade Snead. That's exactly what they're trying to trade Snead for. They're trying to get an extra draft pick. They could draft a receiver and draft a corner, and then have extra draft capital in the second round to draft another damn receiver. That's crazy. Bro, what if they had 2 picks in the first round and they took both Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell? What if Kansas City took both? If they traded Snead, if they traded Snead, got an additional first, and then backdoor and draft Worthy and AD, and then draft a DB in the second round. Boy, see, this is why the Texans got. This is why Texans got to get receivers. This is why Texans got to get CJ some weapons and get CJ some help in the first round. That's what you got to do. Because again, like I said, you did what you want. You did what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to spend money on defense. That's what you did. You went out there. You spent some money on defense. Good, great job. Round of applause. Everybody get a hand clap. Yes, yes, that's what you did. That's exactly what you did. I'm glad you went out there and spent money on defense. I think you still spend some more money. Then you should go out there. Hopefully, get Eric Armstead. I would be so thrilled if I find out tomorrow that they had signed Eric Armstead. Because then the defense is set. Oh, the defense is set. The defense is set. It's cooking. The defense is set. The defense is cooking right now. If you do something like that, oh, that's great. That is great news. That is great news. If you go out there and you sign Eric Armstead, the defense is cooking. It is great. It is doing absolutely wonderful. It's doing splendid if you do something like that. And not to mention, if they get another corner again, I know some people might not like Adore Jackson because Tennessee, whatever. I wouldn't mind Adore Jackson. I wouldn't mind Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore now because of what you're doing up front. And then I think you should still draft a corner and a safety in the second round. Eric Armstead to the Titans. Damn. Well, that where that one goes. Damn. Oh, but see, it's okay. I'm about to go. See, I'm about to go. I'm about to go. I'm about to go. I'm about to go. See, don't do that. Don't do that. See, you up here tripping. You up here tripping, man. Boy, he did not go to the Titans. Bro, I stopped playing. Yeah, I about to say what? Boy. See, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. See. Don't do that. Don't do it to your boy. Don't do that to your boy. Come on now, don't do that. Make sure you hit that like button. I see more people that jumped up for him. Make sure you hit that like button. Uh, no, but for real though, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But nah, but seriously though, that's some news. That's some news that I definitely want to see. That's some news I want to see because you do that, you cooking. Then like so you go out there and you rather read it. But there is, yeah, it is. I forgot that reader is out there. Um, I think Eric Armstead because I think he fits the defense and he has familiarity with the Miko runs and stuff like that. And I kind of just think that's kind of like a no braining type signing. Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, and Mitch Morris, Jags or the Bills 2.0. Uh, so what does that mean about being the Bills 2.0? What does that mean about being the Bills 2.0? Like, cause I think you're a Jags fan. Cause if you're a Jags fan, cause I think I seen somebody put Duval on here earlier. I tend to ignore it. Um, but I don't know if that person. If you are a Jags fan, um, seriously, seriously, how do you feel? How do you feel right now? How if you're a Jags fan, seriously, how do you feel? Text another way. No, I don't know who it was because I just seen somebody had put Duval in here earlier. I feel like this dude that was trolling me about the Eric Armstead fake signing. I think it might have been him, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do remember seeing it early in the stream. I kind of like said tend to ignore it because it said Duval, but if you are, I want to know how you feeling for real, for real, for real. Honestly, I want to know how you feeling for real, for real. I actually want to talk to some real fans of some opposite teams. Like I said, I got family members who Colts fans, and I got family members who's Titans fans, and so I know how they feel. I really don't really know any Jags fans too well. I know it'd be some here in my stream sometimes because I do magic videos and stuff like that. And a lot of Magic fans or either Jag or Tampa Bay fans because Orlando's like right there between Jacksonville and Tampa. So a lot of Magic fans and people in the Orlando area are either Tampa Bay fans or Jazz fans. They mostly Tampa Bay fans because at least Tampa Bay has won Super Bowls and been to Super Bowls and won Super Bowls, unlike the Jacksonville Jaguars. But so there's that. Uh, it's just like I mean, just like the Magic ain't done nothing, no outside this season when we're having a very good season. I know some of y'all actually mad that I don't do enough Magic videos. Don't worry, there's a reason why there hasn't been any Magic videos on the channel, and when the Magic videos come back, which will be soon, by the way, uh, I will explain why. Uh, um, I will explain why. I haven't been able to do Magic videos for a little minute. I'll explain why once the Magic videos come back. But anyway, that's a going off into a tangent on that one. But back to what I was saying though about that. I just want to know how Jags fans actually feel about their franchise in the AFC South in general. Because not to be a trash talker, um, but I think the Jags are fighting for like third place in the division. Honestly, I think I think it's the Texans and the Colts. I think the Texans, especially after the moves of today, I think the Texans still, because they won the division last year. I feel like they put themselves and continue to put themselves in the top status of the AFC South, and they got to keep on continuing to do other things to keep themselves in that juncture. Uh, Put themselves in that juncture and stuff. So I feel like they're gonna stay there. I think that the Colts, even though I do think that them losing Minshew is actually a big loss. Honestly, um, like seriously, I think them losing Minshew to Vegas is actually a big loss to them. Because I don't know how long AR is going to be able to hold up. I don't know if AR is going to play a full 17 game season. Don't know. And also, even if he does play a full 17 game season, I don't know if he's going to be exactly what they need, even though he does have Steichen. If he's going to be exactly what they need to make the playoffs. Because I think a lot of their success was because how Minshew played last year. Now, even though they was playing well, like I said, when they came into Houston against us, the home opener, uh, those first couple drives, I mean, he was able just to run all over the Texans. Uh, I don't know how that would completely hold up, especially now what we're doing on defense. But I want to know exactly. I do think that's a bigger loss than people might want to give credit to. But I do think the Colts are still going to be in the mix for the division. I think it's going to be the Texans between the Texans and the Colts fighting for division. Again, I'm not. This is not slighting no Titan fans or Jags fans or none like that. This is not a slight at them. It's not me trying to talk trash or anything like that. I just believe that the two best teams in the division are the Texans and the Colts. But I do think that the teams. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if Jacksonville. I'm not Jacksonville. Especially if Tennessee was able to get T Higgins. Cause I know there's a rumor about the Titans getting T Higgins. I mean, he's from Tennessee. I know the Titans want to sign T Higgins. If they were able to get T Higgins, uh, in the capacity. Now, again, I think that they wouldn't give up a first round pick for T Higgins because they have a top 10 pick, and I don't see you giving up the sixth pick in the draft for T Higgins. I think that would be crazy if they gave the sixth pick in the draft for T Higgins. That's crazy. But if they if they did able to acquire T Higgins, I can see them overtaking the Jags and battling the Colts for the number two spot in the division. I could. Honestly. So that's the thing. I don't. I want to know exactly how comfortable and confident Jags fans really feel. Cause again, we see how Texas fans are feeling, how we were feeling yesterday, before free agency, and how we feeling right now, after day two of free agency. I said everybody feel like we're having a great day, and I feel like we're having a great day as well, and I feel like we looking like how we thought the Texans were gonna look as far as making moves. Again, it's not the Saquons and the Christian Wilkins and things like that. But some of those things took off the board very very quickly. So. It's still some good receivers in the. Still some good. I mean, it's like I think with all the receivers, the only receivers I really seen to get signed was Gabe Davis and Darnell Mooney. I don't know no other receiver who got signed. I mean, okay, I'm not Robert Woods, but Noah Brown. I don't know no other receiver that got signed because who else? Like Hollywood's still out there. Um, who else still out there? Uh, it was some more. I mean, all. I mean, the which guy never hit the market. Both Pittman, T Higgins, and Mike Evans never hit the market. But there's still some receivers out there. And how would y'all feel about a Hollywood Brown signing? How would y'all feel about Hollywood? Oh, Kurt Samuel. Yeah, that's another one. Kurt Samuel. How would y'all feel about Hollywood Brown signing? I like Hollywood. And I think Hollywood can fit in with the offense too. The thing is, if you sign Hollywood, would that take away receiver? I think it might take away desperation at receiver. And I think if you sign Hollywood, I think that kind of X's out Xavier Worthy and that puts him more so as a Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, or Calvin Ridley still out there too. Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin, and A.D. Mitchell. Draft is just drafting cheaper. I agree. I agree with that. What's the price for him? I don't know because I have no idea. I know when I see on Spot Rack about a month or so ago, it had me. And Brian Thomas as well. A couple months, about a month or so ago, I think I seen his Spot Rack close to like 14, but I don't think he's gonna get 14. Cause I also seen Jeff Okuda's Spot Rack at that time too was like 12, and Jeff Okuda got 4. So I mean, Spot Rack. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It's a okay, like, judging the temperature of the situation, but it's really not. It's not the end all be all. You don't really know. It's not really concrete. It's just based off of years played, production, stuff like that. But things can do some of the stuff. Is 2 years, 12 million too much for Hollywood? Is that 6 million a year? Nah, no. I think anything under 10 to 8 million for Hollywood is fine. But I do agree with people. I agree the best thing to do with this receiving draft class is draft a receiver. It wouldn't surprise me if guys don't get receivers until way late. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if receivers are still on the market uh later on this month. It wouldn't surprise me. Remember, the Texans acquired remember the Texans had acquired Brandon Cooks a month after they traded Hopkins. They traded Hopkins like on the 15th of March, 15th, 16th of March in 2020, and then not Hollywood, but Brandon Cooks didn't get traded to like April 10th or something like that. Like, it was about a month before he became available. Uh, Same thing with Honey Badger. Remember, we had did our free agent signings. We had brought in Aaron Colvin and like, hey, this is our free agent signing. Woohoo, Aaron Colvin from Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, he came in, signed, had a little press conference, and they were done. They had they end the free agency press conference, and then like a week or two later, we end up signing Honey Badger because Honey Badger was getting released. It was what, like, on the market like a day, maybe two, and we was able to sign him. So because remember he had the same agent as JJ, and they kind of worked that deal out themselves. Uh, uh, they kind of worked that deal out a little bit. Uh, so you got that. So I mean, you just never know. People do get signed late, and I do think because of the receiving market as far as the draft, that's the reason why receivers, one, not gonna get a whole bunch of money, and two, why people are not going after getting receivers. Any top tight ends in the draft? This class not really all that big on tight ends. There's some tight ends in there. But you probably get a tight end in the fourth. I mean, maybe the fifth and the sixth. We don't have a fifth or a sixth. I mean, if you're able to get some, I've been the big opponent. I think the Texans are going to move back at pick 23. I don't think they're going to draft at 23. I think the Texans are going to draft. They have pick 23, and I think they're going to move back like 2 to 3 spots. Pick up. I feel like they're going to pick up an additional third and a fifth because it's like with pick 128 to 128 to 238. So like 110 players gonna get drafted between their last pick in the fourth round, their first pick in the second seventh round. Actually, I need to see if the seventh round pick they get from Joe Mixon is it potentially that pick. I have no idea. So it could be even later. So I feel like the Texans are going to pick up some draft capital by trading back in the first round. I think they're going to trade back from 23 to, like I say, 25, 26, 27. No further back than 28, and pick up some extra draft capital. Pick up an extra third and also pick up another fifth or sixth just to have something in one of those late rounds. So you're not sitting there letting 110, 115 people go off the board and you don't get any of them. I don't think Nick Casario wants to put himself in that situation. Yeah, I think they could. I think they could. That's why it depends on what they do in that what they do in that first round. Like, I feel like if they can move, if they move back from 23, just say they move back from 23 to 27 with Arizona, or 23 to 28 with Buffalo, and they get an additional third and they get a six. Okay, so now they got their first round pick, they got a second round pick, they got two thirds, they got two fours, and they got a six. They could take one of their threes and one of their fours and now move up into the back half of the second round or whatever to pick up another player if somebody is starting to fall and they don't know if they'll reach him all the way to that third round. Because that's why I feel like he's gonna pick up an additional third too when he trades back. He's not just gonna trade back just, I'm gonna just jump back and pick up a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick because I ain't got none. I feel like what he's gonna do, he's gonna trade back and get a third and a fifth or sixth. That way, if need be, he could take a third and a fourth and jump up to get a player, or he can stay where he at and draft a first round pick, a second round pick, two third round picks, two fourth round picks, no fifth, a sixth, and then whatever he has left in the seventh. So there's ways he can do that. There's a multitude of ways. That's the reason why I feel like he's going to get an additional second round pick. I mean, an additional third round pick and a 5th round pick. So he's able to move up in the draft and do something like that. That's what I feel like he's going to be doing. I know D'Amico wants separation. Yeah, I mean, again, the people don't listen to what D'Amico say. Like, D'Amico said he was going to spend assets to get people up front, and that's what they did. D'Amico's also said that he wants receivers that get separation and good on third downs. That's why I think AD Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, and Brian Thomas are the targets more so than Keon. Even though I really like Keon, and more so than Keon, and I feel like it's really AD Mitchell and Brian Thomas. I don't think Brian Thomas is gonna be there. That's why I think Tate's gonna end up with AD Mitchell, uh, because of those sentiments. Again, he's also the same one that told us last year when people talk about we want drafting a quarterback. There's two quarterbacks at the top of the draft that we like. People tend to forget that because all you heard up until the draft, the Texans weren't going to draft a quarterback. And in April, when the first round came, the Houston Texans drafted a quarterback. So, but hey, man, appreciate everybody that came through, man. Appreciate everybody that came through. Appreciate all the love. Even though I came in late, appreciate all the love. Appreciate everybody hit the like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, dog, make sure you hit that like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. Hey, the Texans made some moves via free agency. After a lackluster day, a day of disappointment yesterday and day one, had a good day two. Probably had the best day of all the teams in day two. Uh, and I think has definitely made this team better. something that the team got worse at the end of yesterday from the end of the season. Yesterday it got worse. Today they got better. They got better. Not only did they get better from the day before, they made themselves better than they were at the end of the 2023 season. Like I said, I'm gonna have videos breaking down these picks. I'm not picks. Breaking down these signings individually. Again, a little bit more in depth of what they actually mean to the roster and what their position is moving forward, how they actually fit in the offense, how they actually fit in the defense. Tomorrow is day 3. Like I said, I should be going live, but I'm not 100% sure. I should be going live again. Yeah, I more than likely am, just not 100% in stone, but more than likely I will be going live. So make sure y'all be on the lookout for notifications. So we just gonna say I'm going live. Like I said, man, shout out to everybody that came through here. Appreciate all the love and support. Hey, the Texans, they finally making moves. I ain't gonna say finally. The Texans are making moves. They absolutely is. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.